Hey, it's Doug with Backcountry Pilgrim. A little while back, I did a comparison of the Zenbivy light bed system with my personal Ultralight sleep system. If you haven't seen that video, you might want to watch it first. I have linked to it in the description of this video below. In this video, I want to talk about a brand new Ultralight bed system that Zenbivy is releasing. Now, if you are not familiar with Zenbivy, it is basically a sleep system that adds one piece to the standard two-piece backcountry sleep system, making it into a very unique way to sleep in the backcountry. A typical backcountry sleep system consists of a sleeping pad and either a sleeping bag or a quilt on top of it. Now, there are pluses and minuses to both sleeping bags and quilts, some having to do with weight, some having to do with function, but both also have drawbacks such as weight and draftiness and other things that can make them difficult to use in every situation. What makes the Zenbivy system unique is that they add a third piece that they call a sheet. The sheet is a piece that goes over the sleep pad, which makes it a lot more comfortable to lie upon. It also has a big hood at the top, which they call a headboard. This keeps your pillow and you from falling off of the sleep pad and coming into contact with the cold tent floor. But the real innovation with the sheet is that it has these walls or wings on the side that clip into the Zenbivy quilt. And what this does is seal off the quilt from drafts while still keeping it able to move around. This is basically giving you the best of both worlds between a sleeping bag, which is totally enclosed on the sides, and a quilt which is able to move around more freely and which is lighter because it is not trying to insulate the parts of the bag that aren't going to keep you insulated once you lie on them. The Zenbivy system is very adaptable because you can mix and match the pieces that allow the quilt to be configured in numerous different ways, giving you the ability to create something like a mummy bag all the way up to a blanket. But I would argue that the number one reason to go with Zenbivy is comfort. This is especially true if you are any kind of a stomach or side sleeper, or you toss and turn in the night. I don't think the Zenbivy system has a true rival. Now, given Zenbivy's unrivaled comfort and adaptability, why would you get anything else? Well, the two main complaints that I typically see about Zenbivy are that it is adding weight and it is too expensive. However, when I compared a comparable system, I discovered that the difference between the Zenbivy system was less than 10% when you looked at the weight and less than 10% when you looked at the price. Now, of course, it's possible to go a la carte and get your total price down, but it's also possible to do that with Zenbivy because they have a wide range of pieces that you can mix and match, and you can actually get into a Zenbivy system for as low as $300. Given that some sleep pads cost $200 by themselves, that's not too bad. For people who are prioritizing comfort and or adaptability, I think the Zenbivy system pretty much wins hands down. Now, however, Zenbivy has gone on full attack mode against the weight objection. They are now producing an ultralight series of beds, or more properly, bed pieces, that when put together give you all the benefits of the Zenbivy light bed or bed systems, but in an ultralight configuration. Zenbivy was kind enough to offer me 2 of these beds to check out, and so I put together the lightest system that Zenbivy offers, and also the warmest system that Zenbivy offers in an ultralight configuration. These new ultralight beds are the same kinds of technology that their regular beds and light beds were made with. However, they have increased the fill power of the down, they have decreased the weight of some of the other materials, and the result is a pretty impressive weight savings over their own product. Naturally, this is going to drive the price up a bit, so now what we're really comparing are pretty much the premium offerings of other cottage manufacturers and smaller companies versus Zenbivy's top-end products. So I'm going to take a look at these new pieces, give you the stats on them, and let you know what I think in comparison with both my ultralight system that I built in pieces and Zenbivy's own light bed. So I'm going to go ahead and build the new Ultralight Zenbivy systems, talk about their stats and features as I go along. First, I am happy to see Zenbivy returning to their stuff sack that doubles as a pump sack. Although it looks quite a bit smaller, that is because there is a sleeve extender on the inside that doubles as a waterproof element, making the stuff sack waterproof. Once the sleeve is pulled out and extended, you can inflate it using very little breath because it relies on Bernoulli's principle, so it utilizes external air pressure and not just your lungs to fill the pump sack. Although it would take longer, you could actually fill up your sleeping pad without any breaths at all. However, a very light breath will fill the bag, and after about 15 full rounds, I was able to get the sleep pad inflated. Once the pad is deflated and rolled up, it slips right back inside the stuff sack. You just give the extension sleeve a spin, tuck it in, and it cinches down, forming a dry bag. There are 2 new sleep pads for this year. Both of them are pretty lightweight, but one has some slightly different materials, which make it super soft and stretchy on one side. The Flex Air is a 20D brushed polyester with a 20D polyurethane stretch laminate on the top, which makes it super soft and stretchy. Now this adds about 5 ounces to what would otherwise be the same build in their Ultralight pad. This is also a 20 denier material, and both pads feature a 2-layer suspended mylar insulation, which keeps it fairly quiet and gives it an R rating of 4.8 or 5 if you want to round up. This insulation is new for the Zenbivy lineup. The new Zenbivy pads utilize a diagonal dot system that doesn't lift the edges when pressure is applied to them. Unlike straight baffles, when pressure is applied to the top of the pad, it does not lift the edges. Rather, the diagonals try to make the pad twist, which when it is lying on the ground, it cannot, and that keeps it from bouncing around when you're trying to move. These pads are tapered from 25-inch wide, which is really good for side and stomach sleepers, down to 20 inches near the feet, where the width is not necessary. Also new for this year is a big, fast 2-stage valve. When you pop the cap, you have an inflation stage with a release pin to adjust the inflation of the pad, and then that plug can be pulled as well for a fast air dump. The Flex Air mattress starts at about 1 pound 4 ounces for the 20 by 72, and is 1.9 ounces for the biggest pad, which is 25 by 77. The Ultralight pad starts at 1 pound 1 ounce for the 20 by 72 and only goes up to 1 pound 6 ounces for the 25 by 77. Both pads include the waterproof inflation storage sack and repair kit. The Zenbivy Ultralight quilts utilize 10D materials in a light grid pattern, and the feel is amazing. Calendaring is what creates that sticky plastic feel, which you don't want on the inside of a quilt. Unlike most quilts, the Zenbivy is calendared on only one side of the material, so it leaves a super soft feel against your skin. The Ultralight quilts use a premium 900 fill Expedry water-resistant down from Allied, but Zenbivy did not stop with premium materials. 2 patented features on the Zenbivy quilts make them truly special. One is the Kylie Curve. This is a replacement for the kind of add-on draft collars you find on most other quilts. Rather than sewing on an extra piece, the Kylie Curve refers to a cinched middle section in the top baffle of the quilt. Because it only cinches in the middle, it grabs onto your shoulder without lifting up the sides of the quilt. This allows a full range of motion without having to worry about yanking on the corners of the quilt. Even though the quilt will hang on to you in the shoulder area, you still have free motion on the tops and sides, including the ability to tuck the quilt in to the sheet headboard or open it up and even fold it down. Further, the cinch cord on the Kylie Curve is routed off to the side. It is not in the center where it's going to flop around in your face. The other feature that makes the Zenbivy quilt different from all others is what they call the fast foot box. Rather than having a non-adjustable foot box or one that just cinches with a cinch cord, Zenbivy has 2 overlapping, fully baffled panels underneath the quilt. These are hooked together with simple little fasteners and allows variable openings so that you can treat the quilt more like a mummy bag or more like a quilt. So it retains a fully sealed footbox without compromising leg motion. Zenbivy's new ultralight quilts come in two temperature ratings. The 25 degree weighs 1 pound 1 ounce in a regular and 1 pound 6 ounces in an extra large. The 10 degree quilt starts at 1 pound 10 ounces in the regular size and goes up to 2 pound 2 ounces in an extra large. Like other Zenbivy quilts, the new ultralights are extremely comfortable and do not compromise on quality at any point. Among all of the unique features of the Zenbivy system, none is more innovative than the sheet. The Zenbivy sheet is what really transforms an otherwise excellent sleep system into a full bed-like experience. It is basically a sleeping pad cover with side draft shields that clip into the quilt to keep it from lifting up and allowing air in, and what they call a headboard, which may look like a hood and can function like one, but is actually for keeping you and your pillow from slipping off the pad. What the draft shield wings do for the side and the headboard does for the top is create a system that eliminates many of the difficulties of sleeping with a standard two-piece quilt or sleeping bag system. The new Zenbivy sheets come with clips in the headboard that allow the Zenbivy pillow to be snapped in and still moved around the pad, but it will keep it from falling off or getting shoved onto one side or the other, while leaving room for your arms if you want them under the pillow. The ultralight sheets are a half sheet rather than a full covering, and they come in both an insulated and non-insulated headboard configuration depending on how warm you want to be up top. Because of the way the headboard is shaped, the quilt can simply be tucked inside of it for a full coverage fit, or the quilt can be rolled down for extra air. Because the side clips on the wings are not simply sealing the bottom of the quilt down near the pad, this allows the quilt to stay free moving on top and allows for a lot of motion inside the system without compromising warmth. And so with the full Zenbivy system in place, you have even more freedom of movement than you would with a sleeping bag or quilt, as well as less constriction, but no drafts. The uninsulated headboard ultralight sheets are less than 3 ounces, 2.9 for the 25-inch and 2.7 for the 20. The insulated headboard sheets run 5.8 ounces for 25 degree down in a 25-inch size and 5.4 ounces for the 20-inch. The 10 degree down insulated headboards run 6.9 ounces in the 25-inch and 6.7 ounces in the 20-inch. In addition to Zenbivy's light and ultralight beds, is their accessory pillow. The original light pillow was a two-piece pillow, which included an inflatable bladder and the cover that allowed room to stuff in a puffy if you would like a down layer in addition to the air bladder. Zenbivy's new offering is a down pillow topper, which utilizes 650 fill down and can replace the puffy jacket if you don't plan on using one, or if your jacket simply isn't the right size to work with your light pillow. This new pillow topper is also larger, about 3 or 4 inches bigger than the light pillow, and it includes headboard clips that work together with the Zenbivy sheet. With this down pillow topper, Zenbivy has really upped the pillow game, creating a system that has several different configurations based on need. Now for a comparison of the Zenbivy ultralight system to the previous Zenbivy light bed, we see that the equivalent 10 degree rated system in the ultralight is 12 ounces lighter in total and costs $250 more. When compared to the Zenbivy ultralight 25 degree bed, it is 30 ounces lighter and $230 costlier, but of course it's also 15 degrees colder. Comparing the Zenbivy ultralight system to my previous ultralight system, which consisted of a 20 degree UGQ bandit quilt, a Nemo tensor insulated wide large sleep pad, and the UGQ pad strap, which you would need to even come close to the features of the Zenbivy system. The Zenbivy Ultralight 10 degree is 11 ounces heavier and $200 costlier, but it is 10 degrees warmer. Comparing my system to the Zenbivy Ultralight 25 degree rated system, it is 7 ounces lighter, $180 costlier, but 5 degrees colder. So what we can see by comparison is that all of these systems have pluses and minuses. There is not a single one of these systems that has better stats all the way across. So regardless of which system I went with, I was going to make some gains and make some losses. It really just depends on which of these is most important to you. However, the one thing to keep in mind is that all of the Zenbivy systems are far more comfortable and less drafty than a standard two-piece sleep system. Now, Zenbivy was being called the GOAT, the greatest of all-time sleep systems, before their ultralight line came out. They are using top quality materials with innovative ways to use them that you can't get anywhere else on the market. And they are not just doing innovation for the sake of innovation. They are actually solving problems encountered with other backcountry gear. And as far as I am concerned, Zenbivy has addressed pretty much every legitimate objection to their system that can be made. And although their top-of-the-line gear is rather expensive, which is to be expected, the fact that they have a full line of offerings that can get you into the budget range shows that there really is a Zenbivy system that can compete with any other system out there, but it will also offer advantages that no other system has. Have a look at these other videos if you're interested in different kinds of innovative sleep systems that are out there. Let me know in the comments what you're using. If this video had value for you, please give it a like, subscribe, and click the bell if you are into hiking, camping, backpacking, and the gear that goes with it. And until next time, I'm Doug. Thank you for watching.